What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nookstar here, back with another video. And today, as you noticed, I've been uploading quite a bit of wrestling content. And today, I saw somebody else do this, and I was like, that looks fun. So I'm gonna do it. The person I saw do this was Phoenix Nitro on YouTube. Yep. I don't know why I said it like that, like I was trying to figure out, but I knew exactly who did it. So yeah, what we're gonna do, we're gonna simulate 5 years in. Should I do 1 year or should I do 2 or 5? I don't know. You know what? Let's do 2. Yeah, we're gonna simulate 2 years, and we're gonna look at the big 4 pay-per-views, which are Money in the Bank. No, Survivor Series. Forget Money in the Bank. Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. We'll take a look at those 4 pay-per-views and see what's happening over these 2 years. That means we're going to be looking at 8 shows. I haven't done anything to the rosters. The rosters are themselves, as you see, because Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are fighting the Revival, and those two teams are not in the company anymore. So, yeah, let's get to simulating to the first pay-per-view of the 2 years of SummerSlam. All right, we're here. The first pay-per-view, SummerSlam, and let's check out this card. First off, we have Ricochet versus AJ Styles for the U.S. title. The Revival versus FTR versus the Good Brothers for the Raw Tag Team Championships. We have Jack Gallagher versus Sin Cara. We have Eric and Sarah Logan, a couple, versus Jimmy Uso and Nia Jax, who are both Samoan. I think I understand where WWE's going with this. It makes a lot of sense. Then we have Heavy Machinery, who don't exist anymore, and Daniel Bryan and Rowan, who don't exist anymore, fighting for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Then we have Drew McIntyre versus Mojo Rawley, Aleister Black versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship, Akira Tozawa versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship, Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler. Wait, is Randy Orton the WWE Champion? Alright, wait a minute. Championship news. Oh, I did skip some pay-per-views. Forget NXT. On the July pay-per-view, which was the last pay-per-view, Randy Orton. Oh, he defended the title? Huh? Oh, in the first pay-per-view, he won it. From who was the champion? Kofi. Oh. Dolph Ziggler is fighting Randy Orton. Because it should have been him, Randy. I'm making bad jokes. I'm sorry. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title. And Braun Strowman is apparently a Universal Champion. Right? Right. And then in our main event, we have Bayley, Charlotte, and Ember Moon in a SmackDown Women's Championship match. This looks like a good card. Let's hit the little simulate. And AJ Styles is still your United States Champion. The Good Brothers are still your Raw Tag Team Champions. Sin Cara beat Jack Gallagher. The married couple of Eric and Sarah Logan beat the Samoan dynasty of Jimmy Uso and Nia Jax. Daniel Bryan and Rowan are still your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Drew McIntyre beat Mojo Rawley. Shinsuke retained his Intercontinental Championship. Drew Gulak retained the Cruiserweight Championship. Baron Corbin beat Sami Zayn. Randy Orton is still your WWE Champion. Unfortunately, because it should have been Dolph. What am I talking about? Ronda Rousey beat Becky Lynch, retaining her Raw Women's Championship. Braun Strowman retains the title. And who's the champion? I don't know. But Ember Moon is your SmackDown Women's Champion. Let's head to the next pay-per-view, which I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's Survivor Series. So let's head to Survivor Series. Alright, boys. We're here at Survivor Series. And before we start, this time we're going to check the news, because that seems to be the right championship news. Where were we at? We were at August. So, oh, Shinsuke Nakamura. Do we have any new champion? Shit. Asuka is your SmackDown Women's Champion before this start. Dolph Ziggler's your WWE Champion, unless that's changed. John Cena's Universal Champion, and Breezango are your Raw Tag Team Champions. Before we get into Survivor Series, so let's hop into it. And we're starting off with the match that every WWE fan wants to see, and that's Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. And then we have Jack Gallagher and another pay-per-view match versus Tony Nese. Alicia Fox versus Naomi. The Bar versus Heavy Machinery. Tamina versus Ember Moon. Wait. Is Kane your champion? God, man, now I have to check. I can't check because we're at the pay-per-view. It doesn't matter. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kane for the Intercontinental Championship. Buddy Murphy versus Roman Reigns. Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins. And your only traditional Survivor Series match between Team Raw. Let me see. Team Raw versus, I don't know. I think Mickie James is on Raw. Asuka's, doesn't matter to me. So we have Team Ronda Rousey versus Team Asuka in the main event. We have a single world championship match on this card. We have one title match, but who cares? Big Show has beaten Brock Lesnar because he's the Big Show. And then we have Tony Nese beating Gentleman Jack Gallagher. We have Naomi beating Alicia Fox. The Bar have beaten Heavy Machinery. Ember Moon has beaten Tamina. Shinsuke Nakamura, I think, retained his Intercontinental Championship. I don't know. Buddy Murphy has beaten Roman Reigns. Samoa Joe has beaten Seth Rollins. And Team Ronda Rousey has beaten Team Asuka. And the main event of Survivor Series. Now we're going on to the Royal Rumble. Alright, folks, here we have it. We're at the Royal Rumble. Also, I've decided, before we do anything, we're going to look at the rivalries, too, to see what's going on these shows, which is Monday and Tuesday only. Oh, and Thursday. Because, yeah. So, on Monday Night Raw, we have Big Show versus Brock, which is still existing. We have Samoa Joe versus Drew. We have Ronda versus Becky. And Baron Corbin versus Ray. And then we have Kane versus Shinsuke. The Iconics versus Fire and Desire. Jinder Mahal versus Shelton Benjamin. And Aleister Black versus Rusev. And then on Thursdays, we have Gentleman Jack Gallagher versus Tony Nese. Noam Dar versus the Brian Kendrick. Sorry, I had a frog in my throat. Then we have Akira Tozawa versus Grand Metalik. I remembered his name. And then finally we have our boy Drew Gulak versus Mike Kanellis, who is not in this company anymore. Okay, now we want to check out the news, the championship news. They're not showing me everything. I don't care about any of this. But November, December, Akira Tozawa is a cruiserweight champ. Ronda Rousey retained her championship, and okay, that's NXT stuff. So now on to the good stuff. We got Baron Corbin versus Rey Mysterio. Sonya Deville. Fire and Desire versus the Iconics. Gentleman Jack Gallagher versus Tony Nese. Jinder Mahal versus Shelton Benjamin. Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kane. Aleister Black versus Rusev. Drew McIntyre versus Samoa Joe. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. And there's no men's Royal Rumble because that's what WWE would do. No, it's not. I don't understand what this game is doing, but there's a women's Royal Rumble. But I think to see the winner, we actually have to start the show. So we're gonna have to actually go into this show to see who, is winner of the women's Royal Rumble, because that's important. Oh my God! Hurry this! Oh man, I don't care. I'm gonna have music in the background of this whole video. It's gonna be like 30 different songs, man. So you don't want to have to just hear my plain voice. Oh my God, Susan. I didn't know you were in love with John still. That was so loud. Alright. So, we got Baron Corbin versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio picks up the win. Fire and Desire versus the Iconics. Fire and Desire beat the Iconics. Gentleman Jack Gallagher, because every pay-per-view I look at, he's featured. Versus Tony Nese for the second time this video. And Tony Nese once again wins. Then we have Shelton Benjamin versus Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal wins. Paul Heyman versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar beats the Big Show this time. Then we have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kane. And Kane wins the Intercontinental Championship. Aleister Black versus Rusev. Aleister Black beats Rusev. Drew McIntyre versus Samoa Joe. Drew McIntyre beats Samoa Joe. And now we have this banger of a Women's Championship match in which Ronda Rousey retains her Raw Women's Championship. And now the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble is Sasha Banks. I think in this game she's on Raw. So that means if everything goes to plan and nobody takes that title from Ronda, we're getting Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. In case, you know, unless Nia Jax decides she wants to beat Ronda Rousey. And in that case, we should all just be a little upset because Nia Jax is ruining this simulation. Oh my, now it's time. God, before I even get started, Lacey Evans is on the poster for WrestleMania. Which is cool. Lacey Evans can be on a poster. It's just that means she's in the main event. And in that case, I'm pretty sure she's on Raw in this game. So actually, she might be on. I think she's on SmackDown. Actually, no. This came out in 2019. Is she on SmackDown yet? I don't bloody know, mate. But we're starting off the show with our first World Championship match and 2 pay-per-views that we've seen. Actually, wait, gotta check out the WrestleMania rivalries. We got the Usos versus Breezango, Samoa Joe versus John Cena, The Miz versus Braun Strowman, and Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar. Then we have Ember Moon versus Charlotte. Forget that. NXT doesn't exist. And then we have Dolph Ziggler versus Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Andrade, and then the Hardy Boys, almost said bros, versus Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan. And then we have, I don't even care, man. Samoa Joe versus John Cena starting off the show for the Universal Championship. Then we have the Hardy Boys versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Then we have Gentleman Jack Gallagher, who does not miss a pay-per-view, versus Sin Cara. Then we have our traditional Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale with a whole bunch of people who weren't going to be featured on the show. Then we have Akira Tozawa versus Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight Championship. I didn't check the news. I don't care anymore. And then we have a one-on-one tables match. Running it back, Dolph Ziggler defending his WWE Championship against Randy Orton. Then we have Braun Strowman versus The Miz. It's crazy. Neither championship match is even in the main event. And I know it's a women's... It might not even be a women's championship match. It just might be a women's regular match between, like, Lacey Evans and Sarah Logan. Braun Strowman versus The Miz. And then we have Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair. We have another... This doesn't seem like an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. This seems like a bunch of SmackDown superstars to put into a Battle Royale for no reason. Then we have the U.S. title, running it back from the first pay-per-view, Ricochet versus AJ Styles, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, and a no-holds-barred match, Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. And in the main event, oh my God, Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, and a triple threat Women's Championship match, Raw Women's Championship match in the main event of WrestleMania. Let's get back and let's simulate. John Cena has retained his Universal title. Daniel Bryan and Eric Redbeard have retained their... Why can I not talk? SmackDown Women's Championships. Gentleman Jack Gallagher has once again lost at a pay-per-view. Brian Kendrick won the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Akira Tozawa beat Tony Nese to win the Cruiserweight Championship, I think. I don't know. Dolph Ziggler retains his WWE Championship because he's the GOAT. Braun Strowman beat The Miz. Charlotte beat Ember Moon. Kevin Owens won the second Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Ricochet once again fails to beat AJ Styles. Seth Rollins loses to Drew McIntyre. Brock Lesnar beats Bray Wyatt. And Becky Lynch, I think, retains the Raw Women's Championship. So that's it for the first year. I'll see you guys at SummerSlam. Oh, wait, actually, before we do anything, we're gonna do next show. This is gonna be quick, guys. Don't worry. We're gonna do next show. We're gonna go to Raw, and then that's where we're gonna check all the championship histories to see who held the titles. And out of the first year, everybody who held the titles. So let's go to championship history. Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and John Cena held the Universal title. AJ Styles held the United States Championship for the whole year. Breezango were the second Raw Tag Team Champions. So Lacey Evans beat Ronda, and then Becky beat Lacey, which set up a triple threat in the main event of Mania. We have no women's tag team champions. AJ's Mr. Money in the Bank, and he's the interesting. Okay, so we see Raw. Now let's go ahead. Let's look at the championships. Championship history. Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, and Dolph Ziggler have been the WWE. Kane beat Shinsuke. Eric Redbeard and Daniel Bryan are the second SmackDown Tag Team Champions after beating the New Day. And the Women's Champion, it was Bayley, Ember Moon, and then Asuka, who didn't have a match on Mania. Sucks to be her, and there is no Women's Money in the Bank holder. Actually, can I check the history of that? No, I can't. So, now let's go on to the Cruiserweight title to see who held that. Drew Gulak, Akira Tozawa, Tony Nese, and now currently Akira Tozawa holds it. Wow, so cool. So yeah, guys, now let's get to that next pay-per-view. Here we have it, folks. SummerSlam, after accidentally starting a 205 live show, having to do that. So here we have it: Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe. Dolph Ziggler. Ooh, wait a minute, championship news. Who took the title off my boy Dolph? Kofi Kingston did it. Kofi said, "Give me my title back, Ugo." So now we have Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe, Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens, Lindsay Dorado and Liv Morgan versus Ivar and Sarah Logan, Sin Cara versus Akira Tozawa for the Cruiserweight Championship, Kurt Hawkins versus Zack Ryder, Shelton Benjamin versus Kane for the Intercontinental Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bobby Lashley versus The Miz, Elias versus Randy Orton, Ricochet versus AJ Styles for the United States Championship, Roman Reigns versus Kofi Kingston for that WWE Championship, Seth Rollins versus John Cena for the Universal title, and then Sasha Banks, Natalya, and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Let's simulate, and we have Brock Lesnar beat Samoa Joe. If Dolph Ziggler loses to Kevin Owens, Ivar and Sarah Logan win. Sin Cara is your new Cruiserweight Champion. Kurt Hawkins beats Zack Ryder. Kane retains the Intercontinental Championship. Asuka retains the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bobby Lashley beats The Miz. Elias beats Randy Orton. Ricochet has finally done it. He has dethroned the tyrant AJ Styles, who has... It's been a good year, bro. It's been more than a year. AJ Styles... Bro, AJ Styles has held that title for more than a year. That's insane. And Ricochet took it off of him at SummerSlam. Kofi Kingston stays your WWE Champion. John Cena stays your Universal Champion. And Becky Lynch, I think, retained the Raw Women's Championship. So let's move on to the next pay-per-view, Survivor Series. Here we have it. We're at Survivor Series, and we're starting off with Elias versus Roman Reigns in an Extreme Rules match. Lucha House Party versus the... Authors of Pain. I forgot they existed. Sarah Logan versus Alicia Fox. Charlotte Flair versus Tamina. The B Team versus The Bar. And then we finally get to see a traditional Survivor Series match. But I think, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no. Bobby Lashley's a Raw superstar. No, this makes no sense. So, Team Luke Gallows versus Team Rey Mysterio. Then we have Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. Samoa Joe versus John Cena. And then the women's one, main eventing, Team Becky Lynch versus Team Carmella. I'm sorry, Team Carmella. You, there's no way you're winning this. They have multiple time women's champions on their team. Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, Ruby Riott and Natalya. Natalya held the SmackDown Women's Championship for like a month before, I remember. Your team, well, Carmella, you won it, but last title Maurice held was the Divas Championship, and these other two, they ain't held nothing. So let's simulate Roman Reigns beats Elias in an Extreme Rules match. The Authors of Pain lose to the Lucha House Party. Sarah Logan beats Alicia Fox. Charlotte Flair beats Tamina. The Bar beat the B Team. Team Luke Gallows beats Team Rey Mysterio. Brock Lesnar beats Bray Wyatt. Samoa Joe is your new Universal Champion. And Team Becky Lynch, like I said, beat Team Carmella. Now on to the Royal Rumble. Here we have it, folks. We're at the Royal Rumble. Honestly, I don't know why I did this. The Hardy Boys are fighting Daniel Bryan and Eric Redbeard for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Fire and Desire versus the Iconics again. Kane apparently lost the Intercontinental Championship to Apollo Crews, so Apollo is defending his title against Kane. Tony Nese is trying to get the Cruiserweight title from Sin Cara. Breezango are trying to get back those Raw Tag Team Championships. That we finally have a Men's Royal Rumble. Lars Sullivan versus Andrade. Sami Zayn versus Robert Roode. Baron Corbin versus Samoa Joe for the Universal title, and in a Women's Royal Rumble. We're just pressing simulate. Daniel Bryan and Eric Redbeard retain their SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Fire and Desire beat the Iconics. Apollo Crews is still your Intercontinental Champion. Sin Cara is still your Cruiserweight Champion. Breezango are once again your Raw Tag Team Champions. The winner of the Men's Royal Rumble will be revealed when I reveal the winner of the Women's. Lars Sullivan beats Andrade. Sami Zayn beats Robert Roode. Samoa Joe is still your Universal Champion. And the winners of the Royal Rumble are... Roman Reigns won the Men's Royal Rumble, and Amber Moon won the Women's Royal Rumble. See, they say main event of Mania, but it's gonna be the women who main event it, because in this game, the men don't main event pay-per-views. And I don't understand why they did this. Women main evented WrestleMania for the first time in 2019, which was fantastic. But then in this game, if you simulate, women now main event every pay-per-view, which is honestly unrealistic for WWE, because they wouldn't. Doesn't make sense, man. But on to the final pay-per-view, WrestleMania. Here we have it, folks. WrestleMania. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Finn Balor versus Kane for the Intercontinental Championship. Gentleman Jack Gallagher finally makes it back onto my screen because I've missed him. Versus Sin Cara for the Cruiserweight Championship. Natalya versus Alicia Fox. Amber Moon versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The Authors of Pain versus the Lucha House Party again. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship. The Miz versus Ricochet for the United States Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Andrade. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena in a no-holds-barred match. Roman Reigns versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, running it back, and then another women's triple threat to main event WrestleMania. Sasha Banks, Ruby Riott, and Naomi all wrestling for that Raw Women's Championship. Let's get it started. Seth Rollins beat Drew McIntyre in a Fall Count Anywhere match. Kane retained his Intercontinental Championship. Sin Cara beat Gentleman Jack Gallagher to retain his Cruiserweight Championship. Natalya beat Alicia Fox. Carmella retained her SmackDown Women's Championship. The Authors of Pain got their victory back and beat the Lucha House Party. Kevin Owens beat Randy Orton. Baron Corbin, wait a minute, when did he become champion? Defends his Universal title against Samoa Joe. Ricochet defends the United States Championship against The Miz. Shinsuke Nakamura loses to Andrade. Brock Lesnar loses to John Cena in a no-holds-barred match. Roman Reigns picks up the WWE Championship. And Sasha Banks has lost. Sasha Banks has won the Raw Women's Championship. or I think she might have defended it. Defends the Raw Women's Championship by pinning Naomi. Let's check the news real quick. I really want to know when did he pick up the title? When did he pick up the title? In February. In February he picked up the title, which is after the Rumble. Right? It's after the Rumble. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, that's it. But, you know, before it's all over, we're going to check the championship history. You know, see who held every title. And when we last left off, I think it was on John. So 2 people have held the title since then. It's been Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin. Let's United States Championship. Ricochet took it off of AJ Styles. Breezango. It's just been the Usos and Breezango ever since, you know, Luke Gallows and the... Wait, what? I swore Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson held the title. But they seem to not exist. Oh, they're down there. Wait, where's Carl? Why is it just Luke? I don't know, man. But Breezango have gotten those Raw Tag Team Champions. And they had never held them before this. So I want to see how many days they held them. 281 days in their 3 reigns. I can see in their three reigns as champion. Let's check out the Women's Championship. The last person to hold it, I think, was Becky. So Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks. They went back and forth. I can't see who's held Money in the Bank. So let's go to SmackDown. No, stop. Let's go to SmackDown. Championship history. Dolph Ziggler was the last champion we saw. Kofi and Roman have been the only ones who's held it. Intercontinental Championship. Kane and Apollo went back and forth. And no one's taken those titles off Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan. Let's see how many days. Jesus Christ. 656 and 723. Carmella beat Asuka. That's it. Carmella's a 2-time champion. And she's held it for a total of 346 days. So in reality, it's been like 200 and something added to like her original 100 and something. So that is it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was cool making it. And I'll catch you guys later.